Meeting on June 29th, 2022 to order. If you could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need to get a motion to set the agenda.
Make a motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay.
Frazier. Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Rice.
Aye.
Wells is absent, right?
Aye.
Thank
I
you.
am positive he said. Okay, action item A, the Lore Foundation donation of bus radios in the amount of $29,970.
Madam President, I recommend that we approve the donation from the Lore Foundation for $29,970 for 10 new bus radios. We had this discussion at the last meeting, and I appreciate the Lore Foundation getting those for us.
Yes. Okay, your motion?
I'll move to accept that.
I second.
Okay. Action item B.
Hang on a second, I got to call.
Sorry.
Vote
I
as soon as I.
Oh, sorry.
really appreciate them doing that. We need those radios.
Oh,
That's the only way we can keep in contact with our schools. So I just want to tell, thank you.
Frazier.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Rice.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, action item B, the Manaw Elementary resolution.
Procedurally, the way we do this is Stacy's going to read the resolution. We will have an action recommendation and a second, and then we will have discussion about the resolution.
Well, resolution of the Board of Education of the Montezuma-Cortez School District RE1 concerning closure of Manaw Elementary School. Whereas consistent with the board's authority to direct the district education programs, the board may take action pursuant to a drop in enrollment, turnaround, phase out, reduction in program, or reduction in building, including closure, consolidation, or reconsideration. Whereas the board has determined that Manaw Elementary School is critically under enrolled, and whereas the board has determined that it may be more efficient and economical for the district to consolidate elementary schools within the district, and whereas the board has determined that Manaw Elementary School has sufficiently deferred maintenance that is not feasible for the district to maintain in order to keep the facility operational. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education takes the following action. The board hereby approves the closure of Manaw Elementary School effective July 1, 2022. The board directs the superintendent to provide a notice to all non-probationary teachers that they are no longer assigned to Manaw Elementary School. The board directs the superintendent to provide this resolution to all non-probationary teachers of Manaw Elementary School and immediately provide them with a list of all vacant positions for which they are qualified, as well as a list of vacancies in any area identified by the district to be an area of critical need. The board directs the superintendent to additionally provide recommendations for all affected personnel given the shortage of teachers and staff throughout the district. In the event that non-probationary teachers are unable to find a mutual content placement with the district, the board directs the superintendent to work with legal counsel to ensure compliance with CRS 22-63-202-2C5. Adopted this 29th day of June, 2022.
I make a motion to accept this resolution.
Second.
I want to say that we met,
For discussion.
Yeah, it's, yeah. So any discussion, yeah.
that we met with parents, staff, and community Monday night. And I felt like they understood where we were coming from. They had the same concerns that any parent would have: class size, room. Some was concerned about bullying, and that, of course, will be taken care of because it's a new environment. But given the condition that Minot is in, I feel because of the safety for students that we need to do this. If even one student is harmed, I don't know that I can. So, Mr. Burris, you have assured us that every staff member at Minot will find a placement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So we're not going to be losing any personnel.
I just,
I know we had a timeline of the 1st of July. That you said was pushed back to the 15th, correct?
Correct.
That's nice. What is all involved in that?
I just have to send a letter to CDE to, was it,
It's basically their accountability wing, so that the school number can be removed as part of the Montezuma-Cortez school district.
that's it. It was June 30th, but I asked them to move it back a little bit so we would know exactly where we were with these two things.
I know when we talked at the strategic planning, we talked about some other alternatives there too with different tracks and stuff. What would that look like?
Well, if it were a single track, our biggest problem there is we would have a alternatively certified or long-term sub in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and not have any mentors for them. With the double track, we're 18 teachers, 18 staff members down.
when would parents know which school their students would be attending? Do we have a timeline for that?
There's a couple things we need to do when this is, if this is moved forward, then we will need to have someone redraw the boundary lines. I've actually reached out to someone that I know does this. It's a specialty type work because they will take the size of the school into account. They will take diversity into account, and they will draw the boundaries so that the schools are equally sized as far as classroom size. And then we can use that going forward as our school district boundaries for the two schools.
And if there's a family or students that prefer one school or the other, and they end up in the district that they don't prefer, is there still open enrollment?
There is to an extent right now because of one of the things that we will have to do is the classes are going to be fairly large, but we're going to order some portables. And once those portables are in place, we'll have lots of room. We will have room for all the kids in the classes as we stand right now. It's just that they will be large.
And when does open enrollment start? So like the end of,
No, it varies to a degree. I think you look at getting students that are in your attendance area enrolled first. And once that you feel is completely in satisfactory manner, then you can start to look to your open enrollments. Sometimes it happens in August.
Parents can start signing up in January according to policy. So
oh, in
we've
January.
got people on our list since January, Yeah, but we don't make the decisions.
Oh, okay. And do they just contact the administrator, the secretary of the school? Okay. Oh, there's a form on the, okay. Okay. Somebody had asked me those questions, so I just thought I would. So just a quick question. So depending on which way this goes, pretty much everything is, say it goes for a closure, everything is kind of, will snowball after that, like who'd have talked about what's going to happen to the building or things like that. That's
It's only monopoly.
right,
Yeah.
right. But the teachers, are they aware of where their situation right
Yes.
now, where they're going?
Robin, I think everybody knows where they're going, right?
I think so. I don't think we really nailed that down specifically, but I think for the most part.
And we do have rooms for them, and we
Okay.
do have a slot for them.
But for the most part, they're lateral moves in that second grade teacher, second grade classroom.
Okay.
There's the potential that they can have the same kids they would have if they stayed in school,
Depending on how.
how the
attendance-
classes broke up.
And then Toyac, is that a little different?
It is a little bit different. I met with Linda Ball today, and what we're offering is they're going to get a list of all the elementary kids with a preference of which school they would like to go to. We'll be sending two buses down there so we can accommodate any combination. Just preference, because if we get everybody in one school, that's going to overload. So I told Lindrith that I needed that list within the next week or so.
But with the understanding that
They may
they
not,
may not get what they want.
With the understanding, yes, ma'am.
If this is closed, tell me what the first day of school looks like.
We will have the two things are going to happen. We're going to have to redraw that boundary. We'll have to get the bus division from Toyac so that we deliver to the right school. First day of school is the elementary principals will have lists of who goes to school there. We'll have that with the redistricting. And we'll have some kids that, come to a school that they're in the other district, and one of two things may happen. Number one, they may have gone to that school last year, which gives them my opinion, gives them a right to be in that school. We have to look at the numbers. And then we will split them up, however you split up kids for second grade, let's say. So,
Classroom wise, everything, what?
pardon me,
Classroom wise, what?
classroom, the classes, we are looking at less than 24 kids in a class. Is that the question you asked?
so will they get an agenda, a form, enrollment form, tell them who their teacher is and what the class number is, the room number?
We do that every year.
Well, I figured you did,
Yes.
but I just want, I like to clarify,
Yes.
because they won't, that way they're not gonna be walking around going, what in the world? And they can say, I'm in this, they can show the paper and get the direction they need to go.
Yes, and we also talk about an open house and things to do beforehand. We also, like, at our school, we do a Kemper Academy that happens the first week of school to go over expectations and community building, relationships. Yeah, we already do that anyway.
I think we could probably say the same about Mason.
Yeah, she was agreeing.
Yes.
She was shaking her head, yes.
Transition opportunities for everybody.
Parents will be contacted both by letter and by. They'll have an understanding where they're gonna be. Especially this school, now it's all.
Our biggest priority right now is to get, if we do this, is to get the division lines done, so we know who's in which area.
Okay, any more discussion? Questions?
And we started way last December, so talking about some of this stuff, but when it comes down to it, it's
Hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
different than talking about it in December. I can guarantee you, it's not an easy task. So I just want to make sure that I think everybody knows what after our strategic planning time and everything, I think everybody in the community is pretty well aware of what we're trying to do in town here and stuff as far as the elementaries. We've got to do something to get them up.
Right.
And this is one of those steps that it's not an easy step to do, but it's one of the steps toward getting that result. So, I don't know.
I mean, it's never an easy step to close a school. Our district has had to close 2 different schools in the last 50, 40 years. And it's not an easy step. It's not an easy process. And there's a lot of emotion involved in it. It's not something that I think any of us take lightly. The most important thing that I see is the safety of these kids.
That's my concern.
That's my biggest issue is the safety, and not enough staff is a real safety issue. And the condition of buildings is
Then you look
is,
at their education.
Yeah.
They're not going to have
Yeah.
teachers. And so their education will be failing.
Yeah.
So and our job is to educate.
Yeah.
Keep them safe and educated.
Right, Mr. Burris.
Frazier,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
Noise,
Aye.
Rice.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Okay. Action item C, Pleasant View Elementary Resolution.
Resolution of the Board of Education of the Montezuma-Cortez School District RE1 concerning closure of Pleasant View Elementary School. Whereas consistent with the board's authority to direct the district education programs, the board may take action pursuant to a drop in enrollment, turnaround, phase out, reduction in programs, or reduction in building, including closure, consolidation, or reconstruction. Whereas the board has determined that Pleasant View Elementary School is currently under enrolled, and whereas the board has determined that it would be more efficient and economical for the district to consolidate elementary schools within the district, and whereas the board has determined that Pleasant View Elementary School has sufficient deferred maintenance, and that it is not feasible for the district to maintain in order to keep the facility operational. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education take the following action. The board hereby approves the closure of Pleasant View Elementary School effective July 1, 2022. The board directs the superintendent to provide a notice to all non-probationary teachers, including that they are no longer assigned to Pleasant View Elementary School. The board directs the superintendent to provide this resolution to all non-probationary teachers of Pleasant View Elementary School and immediately provide them with a list of all vacant positions for which they are qualified, or as well as a list of vacancies in any area identified by the district to be in an area of critical need. The board directs the superintendent to additionally provide recommendations for all affected personnel given the shortage of teachers and staff throughout the district. In the event that non-probationary teachers are unable to find a mutual consent placement within the district, the board directs the superintendent to work with legal counsel to ensure compliance with CRS 2263-202 2C.5. Adopted this 29th day of June, 2022.
Hear a motion?
I make a motion that we accept this resolution.
I second them.
Any discussion?
Yes. I have heard through the grapevine that there is concern that not all, that if this passes, that teachers will be displaced and not assured of job. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
So-
Every teacher who was considered in these two schools absolutely will have a job within the district. And there's no question of that.
So
And
school
for-
closure will not dictate their
No.
job.
And a paraprofessional, same thing.
Okay.
Any of the secretaries, same thing.
I was at Lakeview last night. Lakeview, I'm sorry, I was at Pleasantview last night. And thank you guys for coming tonight. I heard you. I want you to know, I heard you. And I'm not comfortable with this. But again, as I told a couple of parents at the end of the meeting, the most important thing to me is child safety. And one parent said, well, I don't think the walls are going to collapse. And I'm going, no, but Mr. Burris mentioned 2 or 3 times about the electricity in the building being not par, not being good. And I said, what if we have an electrical fire? We don't notice it and we lose a child to a fire. I don't think you guys could live with it. And I know I could. So I'm listening to what you're saying. I want you to understand that. But I kind of came up, let's have some more discussion because I kind of came up with a weird idea. But I'd like to hear more people talk before I express it, unless you're ready for me to
No.
express it now.
Express your weird idea.
My weird idea,
We're intrigued now.
I really like to compromise where I can, and I'm looking at this, and I heard what you said. Not enough time. Well, I disagree with you on that, because this has been discussed since I was teaching 25 years ago. This has been discussed on this closure, so it shouldn't be a surprise. But that being said, you've asked for more time. So my idea is to extend the closure for 1 year. And then closes no matter what, it's gone. But in that time, you have the ability to put it to a charter school. You can use it for homeschooling. You can use it for community center. And I'm talking to them because they're parents, so don't think that. Charter school, I've checked, will be relatively easy for you. You already have a school. You already have curriculum. You already have staff. You already have students. You already have money. You need a director, and you need money to upgrade the building. So I'm wondering if giving you a year to write grants and get the money that you need to upgrade it, then we give you the building. We just walk away. And I have not discussed this with the board, so be prepared for it to be shot down. But we just give you the school and say, here, you take care of it. But in the meantime, we're going to have to do something for the safety of our students. And if we do this, then I would say June 1st, 2023. We're
June or July? Did you say?
Whichever, I said
July.
June, but it could be July. But we just say, okay, RE1 does not own this school. All kids will go to Louis Ariola unless you have alternative education. Does that make sense to you guys? No. But you can nod your head. You can say, no, I don't like the idea, or you can say yes. And I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but That is the only solution I could come to after listening to you guys last night. So at this time, I would like to make an amendment to the resolution to say that we will close Pleasant View Elementary School effective July 1, 2023. I need a second.
So
My motion to close, you did, okay.
Okay. Hang on a second. Okay,
Can we have more discussion on this?
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
we have to vote on the resolution. before we-
Yeah.
Okay.
no, we have to vote on the
I know, we
amendment.
have to vote on the amendment before we can do anything else. So,
Okay.
please discuss. I mean, it was a weird idea that I just kind of came up with, trying to figure out how we can meet the parents' needs, but also meet our needs on school safety. Because to me, that's the safety of our students. I'll be
I was
quiet.
not at the meeting, but I've got emails, texts, calls, asking for more time. Trying to write grants to make the proper repairs and maintenance on the buildings. I know this would be an extension of that, obviously. But then once that time comes, it would
We're through,
close the school.
but they get the building and they can
Building
utilize it
and-
any way they want to.
Can we legally just sign that building over?
I don't know, and I put a call into Tim, but I forgot my phone to find out.
I mean, or
exactly what-
gift it or whatever.
My first blush answer to that is yes.
Okay.
And I can
Do a legal.
actually call him real quick if
And
you want.
if they say they do decide to go the charter route, they are not held to the same standards as
No,
the
they can write
state.
waivers for anything.
Jim,
Yeah,
Would you
Help me with-
address that? Because I thought that, I talked to you earlier today and I said, oh, they could do it by the beginning of the school year. And you said, no, it would take a year. Because I was going, they already have everything in place. They just need to write their waivers and come
well,
to us and
yeah, I
and
mean,
get approval.
right. After, I spoke with some folks at CDE and they say a year is possible. It's not the ideal, but within a year it could happen. There are things that there's a whole slew of things that have to be done to establish a charter school.
Right.
It starts with having a board of directors
Mhm.
and school administration. And really having that group of people work with members of the community to talk about mission, some of the similar stuff we went through
That's our
last week,
strategic plan. Mhm.
so that they really know, what their purpose is. And to do that, it just takes time. You have to have community meetings, you have to gather people for input. But, we spoke with a gentleman, his name's Alex Medler, he's with one of the charter school groups in the state that helps authorize charter schools. And he said that it could happen in, so,
Would you be able to give, if that's the direction they choose to go, would you be able to give them a checklist to?
yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, after our discussion this morning, I got onto the Colorado League of Charter Schools
Mhm.
website, and they have a report here that really kind of highlights some of the things that need to happen, and resources for that. There's money out there for.
And
for
they
starting
give,
up
they
stuff.
give startups, yeah,
Yeah.
because when I was a director of Battle Rock, I was a part of the charter.
Yeah.
They are willing to bend over backwards to help you. And guys, just know, we're not leaving you stranded, we're willing to help you. We'll walk you through as much as we can. But
Yeah, so, I mean, within the year is possible. The thing is, but it's up to the group, it's up to
yeah, we
that
can't,
community.
yeah,
And once you go that route, you're kind of setting sail on your own and it's, all the accountability and responsibility that shifts to the charter school for things like finance and budgeting and facilities and all of those things that go into running a
Salaries.
school. Yeah. But we're not without resources. We're not without guidance. It's feasible.
And Tom, you would be willing to help, and Jim, if this
Sure.
is the route that it went, guide them through a lot of that process.
Yeah, I mean, we, look, while, we have obviously other charter schools in our district, with Battle Rock, Kiva, and Slows. But at the end of the day, these are all children of Montezuma County, so we're all kind of in the same boat together. It's, it's not in anybody's best interest to see those situations fail. So we would, provide the support that we can, while giving them their independence and allowing them to function as their own school.
Well, I know that we've been going through contracts with charter schools. And so would you hold them accountable the same way that we hold the Kiva?
Yeah.
On how many students are there?
Right.
The
Well,
scores,
You-
stuff like that.
As the LEA or a local education agency of the charters, we do have them have a certain level of accountability.
Right.
And, obviously academics are one thing, we always look at those, but we do that internally as well for our own self.
Sure.
But, one of the benchmarks for our charter schools is their financial stability. And if schools can prove that they're financially stable, then it's a venture that will continue. But, that's the challenge to a degree is, you have to have enough kids. Obviously, PPOR will flow through us to them. They will get their per pupil monies, but at the same time, we have to ensure that that's a stable situation for it to continue.
So
Is there a limit on the rolled students?
For a charter school, no. It's, it comes down to, we had this discussion with Slows recently, it comes down to, what their capacity is, their building. And, what their plan is. I mean, are they gonna do K-5, K-3? Are they gonna venture into middle school grades? I mean, if you do that, it's fine. It's just that you have to have the staff for it and the students as well, so.
And I know that when I was at Battle Rock, I wrote waivers for certain laws
Right,
that we have to follow
Yeah.
to not do that. For instance, teaching.
right.
I wrote some to where our teachers do not have to be certified. Now, all of our teachers don't their work, but just in case.
Yeah, well, that's actually part of, there's some frequently asked questions with CDE that address that very point. And, ideally, you would like to have certified staff, but it's not required for our charter schools. Ultimately, there is some licensure that needs to take place, but definitely, as long as you have basically educated staff, you can bring them on board.
So if they, within this year, basically what you're proposing is the option of a charter school. Are they getting the option to raise any funding?
Sure, they can do whatever they want to. I'm giving them a year to get their grants, get their, everything in line. So they can open up as a charter school in 23.
Oh, grants to open up a charter school, but so if they raise money to do any upgrades on the building, regardless, like it's still, it's still on them, like the district would still be stepping away from the building?
Well, we would still, if they had a,
Even
if they need a roof repair this year, then we would do it because it's still our school.
Right.
And even as a charter, if they receive grants, it has to flow through the school board. anyway
Right.
for approval.
But we would not be supplying any financial aid to them once they become a charter school, if that's what they did
Correct.
starting July 1 of 2023. Is that what you're asking?
Well, or if, say they did find some grants or money or whatnot to to keep the school open, to make it, to bring it up to code, whatever the case is?
Yeah,
Or
let's
would we
say
still be looking at
raise the
I-
money.
back from
I'm
the,
saying that July 1st, 2023, we're through.
okay,
So any money they raise to do it, it's their money, but we're through in 2023. And because.
I mean, I understand. the whole-
Otherwise, we would do it tonight and say July 1st, 2022. I want to give them a year. They've asked for time. I want to give them a year.
Okay,
But in all conscience, I cannot say that they can keep it open after that because of the safety of the students. And I do not think they can raise a couple of $1 million in a year.
One of the things that Alex said today was there is actually money for improvement of the school for charter schools. Like if you walked into a building and as a new charter and you needed money, they have money that they will give you. And it's more along the maintenance line rather than the complete rebuild line, but at least there's some money out there.
and I know there was some of this discussion was last night in regards to like the neglect or the lack of maintenance that was done on the building. And against all odds that, that's been several administrations back moving forward. And unfortunately, we're the board up here that's dealing with the repercussions of the neglect, I guess you would call that neglect. Gosh, I mean, to be fiscally responsible as far as the funds that it would take to bring it up to code as the district, but you're saying as a charter,
As a charter,
It
they
wouldn't
have
be near-
a much more,
near
much
as much.
better opportunity to raise money than they would as a district school. And I want to keep it at June 1st of 2023, simply because Mr. Burris will still be here and we won't have to transferring all this to a new superintendent. It's lost.
That's true.
Um,
And it would be with, if they became a charter school, it would be with the understanding that they know the condition of that building.
Their parents,
They
their kids
know
go
what, and the understanding that if they want to do something to that building, anything they do, they're gonna have to bring it up to code. I mean, because that,
Regulations for charter schools.
Charter schools are
completely
different.
I don't think they're under the same microscope.
That's right.
as the School.
They're different. That's why I'm saying a charter school is really the way to go. But they could homeschool. They use the building as a homeschool if they wanted to. But
I'm struggling with knowing the fact that that building is in such disarray that we're still putting children in that building.
I agree.
I'm
But I-
struggling with that, and I understand
But
that, we're trying to compromise. Yeah, I wasn't, and I understand that. I've been in this community, and I understand that there are some real emotional feelings to that, but my emotional feeling to the safety of 32 students and 6 staff members is great too. I struggle with knowingly putting those children in that situation, and that's those staff members. And it's easy for people to say, we know it's that way, it's okay, until something happens. And then what do you do?
Well, and I want to tell you, the way I came up with this idea was I had a parent last night come up and ask me, if you had a child going to the school, what would you do? And Sherry, you were sitting there, and my immediate response was, I would turn it into a charter school and get some grant money and fix it. And there's not anything saying that they can't do it right now.
No.
Because if they make money, it's their money. It's not going to come to the district.
I would definitely agree with, because it was mentioned at the beginning of this year you know, we were told that we would not move forward with shutting down Pleasant View
Yeah.
this year. You know, you don't need to worry about if you have a
Yeah.
job next year or where your kids are going to school next year. And then we were hit with some hard facts that we weren't aware of. Kind of knew a little bit about the history of some of the buildings, but I mean, it just, the reality of it was alarming and also, you know, sad. So I would definitely agree with giving the extra year for sure. But I don't know, I mean, we would be, I mean, I love our rural schools. I love them. I love all of our schools. And I don't want to shut down any schools at all. But when I look at this and think, okay, how many years are we going to need to revisit this? If we don't have a timeline or something, and you got to be financially responsible, which it sounds like, you know, not that the maintenance department didn't do what they needed to do. It just sounds like there was choices made or not made. And it's really made it a lot harder.
Yeah,
This is very
especially since we
difficult.
didn't find out until this year.
Very.
That made it hard.
Well, and I truly believe that the maintenance people did what they
They did.
could. And
Yeah,
Angie
absolutely.
Stock said that anytime she called them, they were out there.
Yeah.
Then
They
timely manner this last few years. I'm sure Mr. Park can attest to that too. I think that there just was some other issues that didn't happen. And again, that's water under the bridge. We
It
got to
is.
move on.
We cannot erase.
Can't
we
change
cannot
that,
step
but
in the past.
we don't have the money now to do what needs to be done to that road. To make it.
Or do, I mean, and I'm saying that kind of money would be better spent on a rebuild, but we would have to go to a bond that, you know, we can't even get a mill levy passed.
We can't get a mill levy to our teacher salaries.
It's, wow. But what, say they don't want to go the charter school route. What does that look like?
They automatically go to Louis Ariel.
Okay, well, I mean, it's after this year. Is that what you're saying? After this full year, say they don't want to go charter?
Unless they
school?
want to go this year and there's room. But
And we would still hand over the building to
I
the
would say
community
it's
for,
a done deal. My thought is that in June 1st, 2023, we give the keys to the school, to the community. Is it PTO? I would assume that we would give to the keys to the PTO and say, here you are, do what you will. And hopefully in that length of time, we're right there helping them go through and jump through all the hurdles and help them write grants and help them do everything we can to make it a go. Now, if they don't want to do a charter school or a homeschool or something, then they have an empty building.
Well, I think we need to check with our legal department on what we can do with that building if it doesn't become a charter. We
Yeah.
can't say that we're gonna give that building to a PTO.
And I agree with that.
And then,
well, or the town of Pleasant View.
Yeah,
I
we give
mean,
it to the town,
you know,
Is that-
we,
but I think Tom's checking right now.
Yeah.
So,
I have a question. If they go this route and they want to choose to do this, how can they be positively assured that we're going to be there every step of the way to help them?
I will give you my word of honor to help you every step of the way.
Jim and I'll do that. In fact, if this is the way the board goes tonight, I would suggest that we get together tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week, and share what contacts we have and what documentation we have and help get on the road. I'm kind of like, let's just get it done.
The sooner you get started, the easier it will be. But you don't, I'm not forcing you to it. Understand that. I am not forcing you to do this. All I'm saying that for sure is they will be shut down June 1st, 2023. And it's up to you on what you do in this year's timeframe.
And I
So
think,
I've been
Go
thinking
ahead.
along the same lines too, as far as the year and stuff. I haven't thought anything on the charter school really. And that's, to me, that's more than a scary thought. I think that's on the same line as Jerry, but I would, if it's okay with you, Madam Chairman, though, unlike Jerry, I would like to hear from the people if this is something that's feasible, is it not? Is it, are we wasting our time or what?
And they can only answer for themselves.
I know.
Yeah, well, I'm actually pretty okay
Okay with
with
that, Madam Chair?
that, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, one question I have is there's something with that property that's, do you remember? That with the district, when it was given to the district, there's some legal thing where if it's not used as the school, I don't know if it's legally it can be passed on to a charter school, I don't know.
It
I
should
would
be.
say, don't say you're shutting us down, promising to do a charter when we come out and find out we can't.
I
That's what-
put a phone
that's-
call in to Tim and to ask him, and like I said, I forgot my phone, to ask him the history of that building. But if it was given for the purpose of education, charter school is education. Battle Rock is the same way. When they shut that down, there's a charter school and Wallace is on that land. And as long as it's there, Wallace is, so that they can't touch.
You looked it up on the county's GIS, right?
Well, Montezuma-Cortez School District owns that building and property. Now, if there's a stipulation such as what we had with Lakeview, where we're not, if it's Montezuma-Cortez School District not utilizing it goes back to the donor, or if it goes back to, or if it's not used as a school, if it has to go back to the original
But the-
donor, I don't
Right,
know
like,
that.
like you. Right?
But I think
But that was our
documentation
choice.
of that. I
That was
don't
our
have
choice.
anything on that.
Okay,
We went through the same thing up in Duck Creek when I taught up there years ago when they shut Agner down. Agner was supposed to revert back. Well, then the owner didn't want it back. So he had no use for that building. So now they're currently taking bids to try to demolish the building. So, there's a lot of things that, what happens if it goes back is it goes back in the tax roll too. So.
We
That
authorize,
was one, so there's.
We would have to do our research on who owns it. but
my,
yeah.
my first blush on it, I texted our attorney, but if we authorize a charter school, it's still a school and it's chartered through the district.
can I make one more comment? I guess it's a little overwhelming, and I only speak for myself to think of starting a charter school. And so it sounds like if we're saying, let us do the repairs and stay in the district as part of this district, you don't want us anyway. If you're like, sorry, we're shutting you down, and you can take that on responsibility. We don't want you whether you have to code or not.
I will be very honest with you. I do not see how you can raise $2 million. Do you? And it's not that we don't want you. Understand, it's not that we don't want you. We want you deeply, but we want your kids safe more so.
Just, you don't want to unlearn it, but go ahead. and
No, I don't
charter
know.
school.
No, that is not what I said. I do not, my first concern is child safety. It has nothing to do with being on my head. It has to do with that child's safety. I look at these kids like they were my own when it comes to safety and education. Every child is mine in my eyes, as long as we're giving them education and safety.
So maybe what you're saying is that if the charter were to be started, you would have an easier time being able to access funds.
That is
to
exactly
make
what
the
I'm
need
saying.
repairs. And
That's
you would
exactly what I'm
be
saying.
helping parents, community to make those connections. Do you know those sort of things?
And I have a granddaughter that's one class away from being certified in grant writing. I can get her to help you write grants.
This Alex guy that we called today, we've got his contact, and my daughter's here, so I'm not going to be here tomorrow. So let's give you that number tonight. Call, start this ball rolling. Call him and say, Tom and Jim said, contact him and ask him questions.
Sorry. And I get a little nervous.
I noticed that.
But I'm working on my public speaking skills.
I have a spot for you.
Thank you, this is my second day. So I hear there's discussion made that you are a grant writer, and then there are some
not
other
me.
people.
I have,
And you know somebody, I know Ms. Stock has done it.
and we have grant writers.
And I know Tom mentioned yesterday as well that he was.
Mhm.
So there's no grants that can help us earn the money, or I mean, not earn, but
Get the money.
get the money to maintain the school.
We're in a different category than charter schools. And grants are just not existent out there for public school funded schools.
Okay.
They're
What
very
about,
narrow.
Or
what
this.
about for a remodel or something, I mean, not even a remodel, I'm sorry, but a new building, what about a new building?
You have
They're
to
not-
be
they're not there.
a bond.
That's
And we
it.
don't have any bond writers either?
We don't have anybody willing to vote for it.
That's the problem.
The bond,
The
a
only-
bond is like how we did the high school.
Right.
And it-
Yeah, and so the entire county has to vote to do that.
And we'd be looking at like 40 million. And if we wrote a grant, we could get possibly 15 million in grants. And the community would have to come up with the rest.
Is that for a small school? Or
That's through the best grant, which is what I talked about last night, the marijuana money. It's about a 50-50 match, but you have to come up with a bond money to match.
So that's what we did with the high schools, with through the best grant. Once you get approved on that, then it goes up to the people, and if they vote it down, then you lose your best grant because you haven't got matching funds. So it's a pretty lengthy
High
process.
school was what, you remember it was right about 60 million?
What's that?
The high school was around 60 million?
42 million.
42?
Or 21 for the bond and 21.
No, the whole thing, not just our share.
I'm talking 42 total, for 21.
42 total, okay.
21 for the district and 21 for the
And with the
best grant.
price, it's gone up since then.
I would guess between 30 and 40.
You know, I don't know that that's not an option. I don't know. I have no idea if the best grant would be feasible out to get one out there. Or not. I don't know.
And you might be able to, charter schools can
Yeah, there are
apply
grants.
for through best. They can apply for. 'em. And
Over in the San Luis
Colorado-
Valley, and there's a brand new school almost every 12 miles, all through the San Luis Valley, all built off of best grants. I think.
That stuff is in that document that Jim has, the grant thing, opportunities.
And I was joking with somebody last night, right to Bill Gates and set him up with Elon Musk and, you know, kind of say, if they're really, if we share and if we are really to match it. You can't do it legally, but they do give monies out. Both of them do. And I know that Bill Gates, don't know lately, but he used to, 10, 15 years ago, he gave education grants quite often.
I say something? Not in Pleasant View schools.
I'm not the president, so go ahead, Ellen.
So this group is being offered this, and obviously, you said you're going to offer resources that have possibilities. This group isn't a charter yet, and so the funds that they're going to have to put together are going to be, that's going to be some time that needs to be allowed this group to start looking towards putting together the makings of a charter. So you just say, we'll just let you get started on this. It's going to take time. These Pleasant parents come together and say, yeah, let's try to do this. That's going to take. So
That's why we're giving them a year.
okay, that year is dependent on
It is.
it's a scary thing.
It is scary for them. It's very scary, but they can start their grant writing, getting grants before they are a charter school
I didn't
to help and promote to, if they're serious about it. Am I correct, Jim?
I believe there are opportunities
That the
that will work.
Colorado Charter League,
Yeah, the Colorado League of Charter Schools. There's a couple other organizations
that
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 help.
will help you
that
once
process.
you get started and get monies for that.
Yeah, even CDE has basically what they call a kickstart program for charter schools as well.
Have the school question. Getting started.
Yes, what I'd sort of like to see off of it, maybe if you're, interested at all, is I know you've had a whole, 24 hours probably since the word charter school came up to you probably since last night.
Yeah, scary.
Is to go back and have, without us, you guys have a meeting with your community back there and see what everybody's, and then ask us, and not be more than willing to come out and, after you have a meeting.
So will I.
Rather us not be at your meeting, let you guys talk and say, is this something we can do, or, and then if you want to go down that road, we'll sure try to do whatever we can,
But remember, only 3 board members.
and maybe somebody else has a better idea, I don't know.
But yeah, I'll help you all I can. And I've worked in a charter school, so I know some of the ins and outs. Jim knows a lot. And it's been 15 years. Now it's been 12 years.
Will you guide you with that?
I'm sorry.
You want me to guide you with that?
Oh, I'm thinking,
You okay?
yeah, no, I'm not okay.
Okay. So
This is
procedurally, where we are is we've got a motion and a second on the, on the,
To amend.
on the resolution. And then we have an amendment of June 1 of 2023. Sherry made the motion, Ed seconded that one.
Mhm.
And that would be the first one we have to vote on. Unless there's more discussion.
You guys may not believe it, but this is hard on us as it is you. Truly it is.
Any more discussion? So, Mr. Burris, I guess we would be making a motion or making the vote on to amend the agenda, the resolution,
Amendment,
the motion to the amended.
yes. I need to vote on the amendment, which Sherry's already motioned and Mr. Rice has already seconded. Frazier,
No.
Paul,
Yes.
Hart,
Aye.
Noyes,
Aye.
Rice.
Aye.
Sorry, my phone's on off. Right?
Aye.
Okay, now you're back to the resolution with the amended date on it.
That was motion by Sherry and seconded by, motion by Stacy and seconded by.
I'm talked out.
And I voted on the main motion as amended.
What's that?
Voted on the main motion as amended.
Main motion as amended.
It passed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
The amendment will be June 1st, 2023.
Correct.
And this is with
That's what we'll be voting on.
complete understanding that June 1st, 2023, those students will no longer be allowed or be,
Those students will go to Louis Ariola.
those students will go to Louis Ariola, whereas in.
Or wherever they decide to. choose.
Or wherever.
And I've got an answer on the, what do we do with the building? If you don't use it as a charter school, then once a year, we have to post that it's not occupied. And you have every right to sell it if you prefer.
So it can be used as a charter school.
It can, be, absolutely. Sorry, I got right in the middle.
No,
of the
no,
vote.
no, where is it?
Mr. Carr,
Yes, ma'am.
what are your thoughts? You've been out there as a principal, you're now here in curriculum. I've talked to you a lot about the charter school today. What is it? Can you give me guidance?
Well, I don't know that it's gonna help. I am torn in ways that think everybody experiences. I have been part of that school and community for some pretty cool things. We won state awards for how well our kids did at some point. I don't take any credit for that. That was all the teachers. Was a testament to that community and that school at the time. And it's hard to have watched it over the years and not get probably the proper attention that it deserves. But also from the district perspective, it's difficult to justify the type of money that is required. Not saying that students don't deserve it, but all of our students deserve it. From a district lens, it makes it really challenging to provide the type of equity that we'd like to provide, handle projects like that.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You're running on a timeline, right? You've got to have an answer pretty soon. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So do we have to vote on this tonight? Can they not have time to meet with everybody out there and get with you tomorrow?
We won't meet in time to meet the deadline.
We got the deadline extended a bit, but we need to let CDE know what we're gonna do. And basically, this offers another year of, we're staying exactly like we are.
I mean, I understand all of that, and I knew that you had a timeline, but I'm feeling for them because you have 3 people sitting here, even though who was at the meeting last night, trying to help make a decision to go on and for us to make a decision. And I think it's hard on both sides.
Oh,
It is.
it is.
I mean, I agree, it's hard, but I think that we need to make a decision tonight. I think we need to vote on this tonight so we can move on, so they can move on, so they know the direction that they need to go. And we know the direction that we all need to go. It's not an easy decision. It's not an easy decision for any of us. My heart breaks for them. My heart breaks for those kids. But I agree with Mr. Parr. We have to justify giving all of our kids the same opportunity. And I just feel like we're not giving those 32 kids that same safety opportunity that we're giving the other kids in our district.
So I have heard parent concerns about the kids going from Pheasant View to Lewis area. Will the transition be okay for them? Are there, and I'm asking you a question that you probably can't answer or shouldn't answer, but bullies, would they be bullied?
At Lewis? Absolutely not.
You'll make sure,
Yes.
because that to me would be a major concern for my child to leave a school and go to another one is, are they going to be bullied?
Those students already come to Lewis a couple of times for different events. I mean, families are related between the 2 communities. They do sports at the Bay together, so.
They would be very well.
I mean, and I want to honor that concern. That's just not something that I thought of, as,
Yeah.
having to worry about with the transition. So I don't,
Well, I just,
yeah.
listening to some parents last night, I felt like that was a concern for, and it was never stated. It was just something that I kind of picked up on. And Stacy, to your point, my heart breaks for my dog because I get up and walk the floor and stumble over him every night when I'm brooding over this, so.
And I would, I talked to some parents last night and, again, whatever the outcome is, whenever the outcome is, I mean, I would be reaching out individually to each family. I mean, I know the kids out there, I'm out there, so it's not,
Right.
they're my kids. I mean,
You feel down like I do.
Yeah, I mean, I do with both
They're- they're
buildings,
mine,
yeah. I mean, I definitely have more time at Lewis just because of the numbers, but I would be reaching out to families individually to see what concerns are, what we needed to do to transition and make it successful for the kids, because that's what it's about for the kids. So,
Well, I know my niece goes to Louisville and she loves it. So, and the teachers are phenomenal. I'm just having a hard time.
no, and it's not an easy decision. That's
No,
a very
and
strong supportive community and you have fiscal constraints away, so I understand that.
Can I get a clarification? Are the dozen kids gonna stay in school for the year? Okay, because I thought maybe they were gonna go ahead and go to Lewis and then they'd have a year to do the charter. So I wanted to make sure I was following. So sorry.
We're staying there for a year.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of confusing.
I mean, they are welcome, obviously, to come anytime, so that's not an issue.
and I, this is, yeah, super hard. And you always think that you know what you're gonna do until you're faced with some facts and as you guys know, we've got a couple more schools that are gonna be right behind them, more hard decisions down the road yet again. And that's where we were talking about, you know, the community is gonna have to really come together to figure out the facilities for some of these, for these students, for these teachers. And I just,
I don't want to do this one again.
I, like I said, I do like what you proposed as far as like giving a year, because I think most of you thought you weren't even gonna get a year. It was, you're gonna get, a month.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days, yeah, 2 days. What month? Yeah, okay, yeah. And I would like to, because that would make me feel a lot better about honoring that we weren't gonna shut you down this year. That would make me feel a lot better about that. Doesn't make me feel any warm and fuzzy about shutting any school down, but at least that would give time to kind of dissect, absorb all of that, whichever way this goes. I just don't, the plan that was put in front of us, the reports, and I will have to agree, even though you have a very nice fire department, just a stone's throw away across the
driveway.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because I agree with Stacy. I'm really concerned about the safety for you. I think those of our departments there, because I feel the problem is we'll be elected. I think that's gonna be your first problem, just reading the report.
I sent out all of the reports that I had today. Did you get those? I only sent them. I sent them to Angie and to Chris, because that's the only emails that I had. So.
And I was out marking fields all day and doing irrigation. So I
Okay.
apologize, I have not.
All right,
even-
that's all I had. So
All right,
it's in
I
Chris,
will send those out tonight.
and I even found one other one, so we've got like 7 reports then. So I want you to know what I know about the facility.
I guess my worry is, not really worry, if with the resolution in place, there's, if it passes, if this resolution passes, that because this has been talked about and revisited for probably every year. You guys never know each year if you're gonna have another year of school. And that would take away that off your list if it passed. You just need to figure out what you were gonna do from that point on. And if we were able to give you the building, if there was some kind of a homeschool parents together or something. I just know that this will just keep coming up, and it'll be the same anxiety and the same, go through the same emotions, the same process every year from here on out until, I don't know. And I don't see us contributing to a ton of money to make a revamp happen. I just. Guess we're ready. There's no more discussion.
Oh, for the question.
Yeah, you want to call for the question, Tom?
Frazier,
No.
Paul,
Aye. To pass it, is that what
Art,
you said? To pass it, is that what you're saying?
Pass the resolution.
Aye.
Joyce,
Aye.
Rice,
Nay.
Irving,
Nay.
Wright,
Aye.
the ayes have it. The resolution did pass.
I want you guys to know, I will help you in any way possible.
We will.
This was not an easy decision, as you can see, for any of us. I want you to succeed. And I'm not throwing your kids overboard, because they mean the world to me. I don't know them, but they're important. It's just move forward and figure out something.
Okay, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:14.